I'm here to hear other people's questions.
All right. Last week? Yeah, last week there was another West Politics event where the Dem strategist on the panel said specifically she thought you were the one candidate who didn't have a path forward. I know you've got the poll, but do you want to respond to that otherwise?
Got a poll. We know what we're talking about. I mean, it is a two-person race. That's not to say that something very unusual might happen, but right now, Evers and I are within a couple of percentage points, and the good news from our polling, and I have not shared everything with you, is that the more information that voters get about all of us, proportionately, I go up the greatest. What I also haven't shared with you is the issues that we polled. And what's really nice about the results is that the positions I have taken are truly resonating with not just Democratic, but with all Wisconsin voters. So, everybody out there thinks they're a pundit. If they want to risk making pronouncements, not knowing what they're talking about, that's their business.
So Governor Walker's formula, since he's been in office, has been a real stress on lowering the property tax.
Yes.
Doesn't want to increase the income tax under any
Correct.
circumstances, and it's worked well for him politically.
It's worked up until now. And there he is, frustrated and lashing out because he thinks that he solved Wisconsin's economic problems with the low unemployment, which I might point out is principally driven by Madison and Dane County. And he doesn't understand that people aren't making enough money to put food on the table, to pay their rent, let alone buy a house, to pay for their kids' education, that there's a generation out there that's strapped with student loans. And this is the outcome of his policies. And he's talking to the wall.
You talked about possibly increasing the income tax and redistributing it. Do you feel like that's a message that a statewide electorate is willing to latch onto?
We'll find out, won't we?
Well, you must think it's a message that
I obviously think that making a commitment to education, that redistributing how we spend money and putting it into education, into transportation systems, as opposed to corrections, is the wiser way to go, and the people of this state believe that too.
You said you support a gas tax. Would you also consider open road tolling?
I don't like the idea of tolling.
The income tax needs to be adjusted to go up on all levels or certain populations?
Obviously, to make it progressive, it should result in a progressive increase, and that would have the greatest impact on the wealthiest in terms of income.
With Foxconn, would you flat... Can we just hear exactly what you do there? Would you just downsize that deal?
I don't think it's as simple as it's not as simple as downsizing the agreement. What it means is sitting down with Foxconn, sitting down with economists, and getting real about the size of the state's investment. I mean, like I said, this thing is so far over the top and so outrageous in regards to the cost to the taxpayers measured against the benefit. You know, the Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City is like the intellectual home of capitalism and entrepreneurship in this country. The Kauffman Foundation is my source of information about how you make these agreements, in terms of don't get involved in a race to the bottom, in terms of understanding if you want to build an economy, grow local talent, invest in small businesses and entrepreneurs. I didn't write these rules. It's outfits like the Kauffman Foundation and the researchers that they work with who have studied this over the years who've come to these conclusions. Walker chose to ignore all of that, and now the state's going to pay for it. If I have the opportunity, I will sit down with Foxconn and we will renegotiate and bring the agreement to scale.
You alluded to his high-speed rail decision, though. I mean, are you considering something like that where you just come in
I don't think that's going to be necessary because, as I said, they have monkeyed around with so many changes in state statute, and the Walker administration has such a lengthy history of not monitoring violations by companies that are contracted, that we're going to find plenty of openings there for a renegotiation. All right? Thank you.